All right, we are back, you guys. We're back and we're live. Welcome back to our weekly live feed. As you're getting logged on here, comment in. Let me know where you're coming from. Where are you logging in from? Where are you joining us from? Comment. Let me know. We are live on Instagram and also on YouTube. Now, if you are on Instagram, do head over to the YouTube channel. It's Sean Short Cuties on YouTube. You can click the link in my bio there. Because it's just going to be a better experience if you go over to YouTube versus if you're here on Instagram, because you're not going to see any of the photos or anything like that on Instagram. So go to YouTube. I'm going to let it run for a couple of minutes like I always do on Instagram. Then I'll shut it down and we'll keep going on YouTube. And while we're waiting for everybody to get logged on, I'm going to go ahead and shout out our sponsors tonight as per usual. Prozis, our YouTube sponsors for all of your sports supplement needs, lots of healthy foods, activewear, all of the fun things right here. Click on that QR code. The link is also in the description box. Code Cuties10 gets you discounts and free stuff. Every time that you order something, they give you free stuff too. Hello from North Carolina and from Wisconsin. I guess it's cold in Wisconsin. It's kind of cold here today. It was nice yesterday. It was beautiful yesterday. Not today. It's kind of freezing. Kind of freezing today. We're starting to finally feel some fall weather. Maybe we'll see. It's been freaking gorgeous, so can't complain about that. And also going to shout out Liquid Sun Rayz, who is our YouTube channel sponsor as well. So if you need tanning for your shows, or you need hair and makeup, or you need products, skin prep products, make sure you grab them from Liquid Sun Rayz and use that code Cuties15 to get yourself a discount there too. They are the best tanners, the best products. I mean, I've been using them myself for like 15 years, so, is what it is. We got Austin, Texas in the house. Where else is everybody coming in from? Go ahead, comment. Let me know. We always give it a few minutes for people to get logged on. More Texas, more Florida. All right, guys, if you are on Instagram, going over to YouTube, I'm going to log it off on Instagram. We'll wait everybody to get on over here. There we go. That's all set. Got Connecticut. Welcome, you guys. Welcome. We got Utah. All over the place. Well, that's good because our shows this weekend that we're going to preview and wrap up are all over the place as well. So, I've got the QR code up here in the corner too for SeanWithShortCuties.com. So if you want to come work with me, I do hair, makeup, suits, and posing. I also do prep is through Fit Body Fusion, but all the other glam stuff is through my own company, which is Sean Short Cuties right here. Flares are coming. Yeah, so we sometimes have snow for CCTS, just so you know. Not a lot. We've got a flurry twice. So this is our 10th year for Cuties Conquering the Stage this year, and we've gotten snow 2 times. Our very first year, and then 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago we got snow. So what a lot of people did is they just ended up staying an extra day. They stayed and took advantage of the spa and stuff at the hotel. So rather than try to fight the snow, they stayed. But yeah, it tends to be pretty nice here, actually. It tends to be pretty nice here in January. So that's one of the things I love about Virginia is it never gets really cold and it never gets really hot. It's like right in the middle. It's like right like this all the time. So we got Canada. Canada, you guys get cold. You guys get cold. I'm from upstate New York. But basically Canada, y'all get cold. I will never move back to upstate New York. Definitely not. 17 hours to get home. Oh, that was the year that you drove, right? Or did you drive? Or did you fly? I can't remember. There was I think that was the year that Brandy drove, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. All the years kind of blur together for me sometimes. But I'm trying to think last year. So the funny part was actually the weekend after CCTS last year, we got a snowstorm because my husband blew out a hernia. It was in the emergency room. He blew out his hernia while he was unpacking everything from CCTS. So just so you guys know. Yeah. We literally sacrifice everything for CCTS. It's our 10th anniversary though. We made it to 10 years. So excited about it coming up. Okay, so with that, you guys, this evening we are going to wrap up the shows from this past weekend, and then we're going to preview the shows coming up this weekend. And there's a lot. I mean, the last few months of the year, people come and show out. Like they're trying. It's almost like they're trying to get all their qualifications in before Thanksgiving dinners and before the Christmas, before the holiday parties and all that kind of stuff. Because I think we're going to see a really steep drop off once we get to Thanksgiving. I don't think we're going to see anything else. You know, we've got a couple more shows after Thanksgiving, but nothing really to note. Yeah, weather's right in the middle. Exactly. Just like a winning bikini competitor. That's correct. That's absolutely right. That's the best part about Virginia. We get all the seasons, but none of them are ever extreme. None of them are ever extreme. They're all like this, right? So, okay, so let's talk about the shows that we have going on from this past weekend. So we had a couple new people qualify for the Olympia. Let me pull up what we got. Let's start with the Romania Muscle Contest, or Romania, is it Muscle Contest? I think it was. Muscle Fest, that's what it was, Romanian Muscle Fest. So that's what we're going to start with. We're going to start with the Romanian Muscle Fest. So let's pull those pictures up. Okay, here we go. So Carrie finally won. She's been placing, you know, second, third all year long. I think I saw something like she did like, well, 9, 10, 11 shows, something like that, something ridiculous like that. So she finally made it happen. And, you know, one of the girls that beat her previously, I think she came in 5th here. So it was a little bit of a shakeup, all of that. So let's take a look at these girls one by one. This girl right here, Patricia, she is qualified. She did beat Carrie at the last show they went head to head at. So, you know, this is a good lesson where you can't let one show determine what the next one's going to do for you. Of course, they probably had a different judging panel, you know, different circumstances in general. But let's take a look at her front pose. So in general, I think this is a really good front pose. I think she looks very well balanced. Now, what she could have done here, I think she's doing too much of an extreme push here. I think she could have twisted her hip a little bit, stood up a little taller. But I do remember from her last show, she was probably the smallest girl on the lineup. So maybe she's doing this kind of thing to try to make herself look a little bit bigger than she actually is. But I think that this is really good conditioning. I think that she just needs to work on her pose a little bit. There's some little things she's doing wrong here, like the hair falling in front of her chest, that kind of thing. I mentioned this on the last show too. She has all that hair in front of her face. I'm not a big fan of that. Show your face, pull your hair up off your face, push your hair behind your ears, whatever you got to do in order to do that. But in general, I think she's got a really well-balanced physique. And she looks nice and full. She's tight, popping in all the right places, but I think it's just the presentation aspect of it. She might be a little bit on the small side for this lineup. Let's pull up a back shot. Okay, so from the back, she's pretty hard here, right? So we're seeing some pretty tight hamstrings here. She's nice full glutes. Genetics wise, she does have higher insertions for her glutes. So she's got to be careful with getting too tight, because then those glutes get diminished and then she just doesn't look like she has much. So again, she's a little bit on a smaller frame. So I do think she overdid it on her conditioning here. Now we're going to go through the photos too, because the lighting in this particular show is a little harder as well. So that could be contributing to what we're seeing here too. But again, posing issue, she's got all of her hair all over her shoulders. So that's diminishing her upper body X-frame factor here. In general, I think this is pretty good, except that I think she probably went a little bit too hard on the conditioning. So let's take a look at the next girl. Let's see if that's what we got with this lighting. Maybe the lighting is part of it too. So we got Katarina is next. So I would say the same thing here. She's got some vascularity in her shoulders. We're seeing a lot of shoulder and tricep here, right? This pose isn't quite right, but we are seeing quite a bit of tightness in her quad in the back here. I do think she's overdoing it on the conditioning here. I'd like to see her open up this pose a little bit. So she's kind of the opposite of the last girl we just looked at. She's closing her pose off. So if we could kind of get a happy medium with the two of them, I think that would be the right spot for their poses. She's a little bit too closed. The other girl was a little bit too open. So let's just split it down the middle for both of them. Yeah, overall, I would say probably she's just closing this pose off too much, and that really she's squishing, so it makes her tricep really pop a lot. That's where my eye keeps going to her tricep, which my eye never goes to bikini girl triceps ever. So that's a new one. So I think it's just the way she's actually posing. Back shot, she's tilting a little bit too much. This is really flattening out the top of her glutes. I think she's doing this on purpose. I think she's less conditioned from the back than she was from the front. So I think she's trying to make herself look a little bit tighter from the back. In reality, what it's doing is it's flattening out her glutes. So she does need to stand up a little bit taller. Again, she's got the hair all over her shoulders, so we don't see that. From the back, she looks pretty small framed here. I would just really tweak this back pose and see where she is with her conditioning. Her conditioning might be okay if she stood up taller, but we can't really tell because she's flattening everything out the way she's posing right here. She's just over posing it too much. I do want to look at one thing with her because I saw another pose where it looked like she was a little bit more open than the one that I pulled up. So let me see where she's at with this. Let's see. Yeah, she's a little bit more open here than the last one that I pulled up as far as her front pose is concerned. So this is a little bit better here, but still my eyes go directly to her shoulders and her triceps here. So that's different. Like, I don't know if she got that feedback or not, but that's right where my eye goes. So I think she just needs to be careful about how she's actually shaping her frame here. And then, like I said, the conditioning matching from front to back. We got Natalie up next. Let's find a good front pose of her. So she's again a little bit too straight on. She's got a really good shape and frame and everything. But what I look at with her is I look at really etched in abs. They don't want to see those etched in abs. Her conditioning, again, a little bit too hard on the conditioning. I'd like to see her tweak this pose a little bit and just soften up. If she softened up a little bit, that would really get rid of this etching in here and the etching here. Right, we're seeing a lot of that. We're seeing some vascularity through the biceps and triceps and everything like that too. So I just like to see this pose tweaked a little bit. And again, conditioning wise, I think we're a little bit too hard on the conditioning here. We're seeing it the cut into her her calves, all that kind of stuff. And again, my eye goes directly to that six pack. So six pack abs are cool and everything like that, but they're too much for the bikini criteria. Let's see. I think her conditioning is pretty good. I just think she needs more glutes. From the back, her conditioning is probably the best of the ones we've seen so far. She's not too tight. She's not too soft. She needs more glutes, and she needs to relax her upper body in this pose. She's doing well with the hair off of her shoulders. It's the first one we've seen where the hair has not been on her shoulders and covering her. I just think in general, she just needs some more size here. We're not seeing enough projection, that kind of thing. So if she was able to get a little bit more size, a little bit more density here, that's going to actually really help her with this frame and everything. Going on the comment over here, I mean, this is a great way for her to start out her pro career and everything as well. But, just some things to be working on. She just needs some more size from the back. And that would help her to be able to come in a little bit softer as well. And that would be more beneficial for her too. Alina. Okay, so this pose, again, hand is way too hard here. She's smushing into her skin. We're seeing way too much etching in these abs here. Very, 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 very tight. Very, very, very tight. She looks great from the waistline down. Like, this is nice and full, but her upper body is right here, is over the line with conditioning. Actually, her shoulders look okay too. But this pose with the arm needs to really relax here. And then I just like to see her fill this whole area out in here. When you're seeing that kind of like striation in the rib cage and stuff, that's just too much. So I don't know what that is exactly because, again, her shoulders look nice and full. Maybe she just needs to eat a little bit more, something on show day to fill it out. Not really sure, but that's where my eye goes for this particular shot. I think she's just a little over the line there, and the pose isn't helping. The pose is drawing my eye right to it as well. It's where she, as far as where she's putting her arm and everything too. So if she was to relax that a little bit, I think that would definitely help. See here, it's a little bit better, but she's still too hard. She's just too hard. Just the pose itself and her conditioning. Now, when we look at her back pose, back pose conditioning is pretty good. She's got a little bit of an imbalance here. It looks like it's a hip imbalance. She's pushing a little bit more to the left than she is to the right. So we're seeing a longer hamstring here and a shorter one here. And I think, again, I think that's like a imbalance from posing. This is her front pose side, so she's tilted off to the side. Oops, sorry. And so I think if she was to fix that mobility issue, she would be better balanced from the back. But actually, this conditioning is pretty good. Her fullness is pretty good here. Waistline from the back is really good. Where she needs some more development is in her delts up here to really cap off the top of that X. But so far, again, these are the best conditioned glutes we've seen so far in the lineup. And we have Carrie, who did win this. Now, Carrie has been very, very close all year. So let's take a look at what she brought at this show and see if we can see any differences. So Carrie does carry more muscle than most of the girls. So that's something that she's got to be careful of. But one thing that we often see with her is she tends to have some distension in the lower abs if she has some issues with food digestion or her PMDD symptoms and things like that. Don't see that here, right? Her waistline's nice and tight here. So I do think she's still a little bit on the muscular side, and that's going to be difficult for her when she gets to the Olympia. So I'm not sure exactly how you fix that, because if you start bringing the muscle down, then you got to be careful with the conditioning and all that kind of stuff. However, I do think that this is probably, from the front, one of the better looks I've seen from her this year. Because again, she doesn't have that lower ab distension that we've seen in some of these other shows. She's nice and tight. She doesn't have that kind of film with water over her that she's had in some other shows. So this came in correctly this time. So I'm guessing that she just doesn't have any of those PMDD symptoms going on and stuff like that this week. So she was able to bring the peak in correctly. Let's take a look at her back shot. She did change up her back pose a little bit. I can tell just from looking at it. Let's see. And I think it was for the better. Again, she carries more muscle, so you got to be careful with that. She brought her toes straight forward, which did not highlight her legs as much as some of the other poses she's been in have. It just showed her glutes more than anything else. Now, this is a really well-balanced X-frame. She's got some good delts on the outside here. This is a nice delt pop on the outside here. Glutes are nice and full and nice and round and nice and tight. And again, we don't see that kind of inflammation that we've seen on her in some other shows. Now, again, she is definitely on the more muscular side when it comes to bikini. So she's going to have to be careful with this and really be watching this when she goes into her off-season mode to prepare for the Olympia this year. Don't know what her feedback was. Don't know what they want her to do from here, but I would guess it's probably to just streamline a little bit. You know, I think she's got a really good shape and frame. I think she just needs to be careful about getting too muscular. But congratulations to her, because I know she's been fighting for this. I got to know Carrie pretty well being in Japan with her last year. We had a lot of fun. If you guys watched my vlog and stuff like that, we went to, you know, a little dog cafe together. We did a lot of sightseeing stuff together. She's a really, really sweet girl. I've been on podcasts with her and things like that. So I'm very, very happy she got her qualification. She's been grinding all season since like August to get this done. So congratulations to Carrie. I know that meant huge things to her. So if she happens to see this, congratulations, Carrie. I just wanted to give you a big shout out, because I know that meant a lot to you. And I look forward to seeing what you do for the Olympia. So let's move on to Iron Games. This one was full of top contenders. So these are always difficult because somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose, right? So most of the girls in this lineup that we saw in the top call outs were Olympians. So again, it was a lot. It was a lot to deal with here. So we're going to go through the top 5. Lacey, who has not been to the Olympia, is the one that actually ended up winning this. So congratulations to Lacey winning the show, beating out a bunch of Olympians. So that's awesome. Love to see that. Jessica ended up in 5th. Now, again, fair warning, I haven't gone through any of these photos yet, so this is my first time going through the photos along with you guys. So let's find a front shot for her. Let's see. I think this is a good one. Yeah, this is a good one. All right. Get one where she's got her eyes open. Yeah. There we go. Okay. So the biggest thing that I saw from her at the Olympia when I was there in person is that she just needs to put on some size. And I would agree that that's probably still the feedback here. She's just a little bit on the small side. I think her conditioning is pretty good. I do see a little bit of distension here in the lower abs. It looks just a little bit puffy. So I'm wondering if maybe she's on her cycle or this is just like her body getting tired, because it's been several shows she's done at this point. She went to Brazil, she did the Olympia, I know she's doing this one. I know she's probably trying to qualify for next year, all of that. But I would say that this is not the best look I've seen from Jessica. I still think that her front pose is phenomenal, but I just think she needs to add some more size. Just all over in general needs to add a little bit more size here, and maybe just take a little bit of a breather, a little bit of a break. It's been a long few weeks here. Let's see if we can find a back pose. Here we go. Now, the first thing I'll say is that I'm not a fan of the straight hair. You can see where her extensions start and where her hair ends really easily here. And it looks dry, So this is something that I tell you guys all the time when it comes to your presentation. Whatever you do with your overall look, you want to make sure that it looks healthy, right? Healthy, shiny, bouncy, full of life. And her curls do that 100%. This straight hair doesn't do that for me, right? Plus, it's a little bit too long when it's straight. It's hitting the top of her bikini. It's just not a clean line there either. So I would go back to the curls, 100% go back to the curls. She looks a little soft to me from the back. So again, I think her body's just saying, okay, we need a little bit of a breather, we need a little bit of a break. Conditioning in the hamstring tie-ins doesn't look great here. And I think she needs to tilt a little bit more to show more upper outer glute. I think she's not tilting quite enough. This might just be an in-between shot. Let me see if she's in a better pose. Yeah, there we go. Okay, she's tilting. There we go. That's better. That was an in-between shot. But here, when we see her fully tilt, we're still a little soft here. And the hair looks even longer now because it's hitting the top of her suit even more. So I don't think she necessarily needs to cut the hair. I think she just needs to go back to the curls. I think the curls are a better look for her. But in general, I just think her conditioning is a little off here. That's all. I think probably just needs to take a break, that kind of thing. I can't tell if it's the lighting or if it's just, if it's actually the tan, but her tan looks a little bit muddy as well, which could be from doing back-to-back shows. Maybe she didn't get all the tan off from the last time. Okay, so we got Brittany up next. Let's get a front pose up here. Okay, so first thing is I'm not a huge fan of this front pose. I saw it in a few Instagram posts and stuff, and that foot being out so far. I think what they're doing is they're trying to balance her upper body with her lower body. I think that's the whole concept behind it, but it just looks weird to me, looks unbalanced to me. And then it really shows these veins in the calf, and that's where my eye goes directly to. My eye goes directly to those veins. So I don't know if that's something that they mentioned or anything like that, but that's just where my eye goes. Just like I was talking about with the last girl, my eye went directly to her triceps. My eye's going directly to her calf veins here. She's pushing a little bit on her skin here, so we got to be careful with that. And she's tilted a little bit. Now this could be just an in-between frame. Let's see if we got it better. No, she's still tilting. In every one of these, she's tilting just a little bit, right? Yeah, that tilt is throwing me off a little bit in this front pose. So I don't necessarily think this is the right front pose for her. I think they're trying some things to try to make her balance in her body look better. But I just don't think this was quite it. Yeah. Yep. Conditioning looks a little, the conditioning looks hard on her glutes, but not in her waistline. So again, she might just be a little bit tired. She's done several shows. Yeah, the tilt makes her look bottom heavy. Yeah, the foot placement does too. The foot placement makes her look bottom heavy as well, I think. I'm not a fan of that front pose on her. And again, I think they're trying to do it to try to balance her out, but I just don't think it's working. Okay, so from the back, it's just fully posed. I think we're fully posed now. Yeah, there we go. So from the back, again, this just looks a little awkward to me. Like it's almost like she's pushing her knees inward or something. I think maybe what they're trying to do is, again, just balance her, trying to bring the legs down a little or something along that line. I think the conditioning is okay. She's not super diced through that hamstring tie-in, but I think they're trying to manipulate this with the posing, and I don't think it's working. I do like the hair look here. I think this is pretty. You know, I could have seen Jessica doing something like this. But to me, this looks like she's almost knock-kneed here, which isn't the best look. I don't know if it's just like, again, I think they're trying posing stuff to correct physique issues. And I just don't think it's working. So that's my 2 cents. Yeah, not a fan of the suit cut either. I mean, the suit in general, like that's I was going to say that about the top and the front. Her top doesn't fit her right either. Something's a little off with it. Okay, so we got Tara up next. Now, we thought Tara would be kind of your front runner coming in. She ended up in third. Let's take a look at a front shot for her. Okay. All right, so immediately I see some tanning issues. Now, with this lighting, I can't really tell, but I'm guessing because the other girls didn't look like this, I'm guessing in person she might have looked a little green. But we're seeing splotchiness here in the tan. I'm seeing splotchiness up here. So I'm guessing the tan didn't actually sink into her skin is what it looks like. It looks like a layer just kind of sat on top of her skin. She looks a little bit soft through the midsection. This is always the thing with her. It's like trying to get tight enough for her midsection ends up being too tight in the glutes. So here we're looking at too soft right in here, right in the lower abs, all of that. I think she needs to twist a little bit more in that waistline. And if I go through these poses, yeah, she's twisting. She when she gets into it, she's twisting enough, but we're still seeing a little bit of softness, a little bit of distension here. So again, that's something that we kind of point out in general because she has a hard time balancing being too hard from the back and then too soft from the front. So let's take a look at what her back shot looks like. Yeah, there's some serious tanning issues here. She's got a lot of splotchiness on this tan. A lot of splotchiness on this tan. So delts look good. Got to be careful with the hair on the shoulder, but it's okay. She just needs to move it back a little bit. But we're flat. Glutes are flat. It's almost like she didn't fully fill out or something, not fully popped. Her conditioning is there. But again, I think she might have been afraid of coming in too hard. We're kind of diced in through the hamstrings here. So she does look a little flat. I think in general, what we're talking about when we're looking at her conditioning here is overall her whole body's flat. So she just needed to carb up more or something like that. But it's just lacking that pop. So I think that's why she's soft. I think that's why she's soft. Yes, I mentioned that from the front. Her whole tan looks a little green. So I think she's having some tanning issues for sure. I've noticed that on her a lot. She has tanning issues a lot. So she ends up being a little too light a lot. She ends up being a little green a lot. So I'm not sure exactly what she's doing with her tan, but she does need to figure that out. Because even in this lighting from these photos, you can tell she's a little green in comparison to the other girls. She is. So I think that probably did hurt her, but you can also see the splotchiness up on the top here. She's pretty muddy through her calves and through her hamstrings. So there's definitely some tanning issues going on for sure. For sure, some tanning issues. Okay, so in second, we had Wu Bai. So again, Wu's been competing a lot, trying to get qualified. Let's take a look at what we got here for her. She's another one where her front pose just drives me crazy. I don't know what she's doing. Every time it's a little different. This is still, I mean, get rid of these heels. You guys, these heels are terrible. They're terrible. I mean, her feet are hanging off them. They're the first thing you see because they're so high and they're so sparkly. Get rid of these shoes. Just get rid of these shoes. I mean, if you want to go out to the club in these, cool. That's fine. Don't go on stage in these shoes, okay? And then her whole overall pose, it's almost like she's hunched forward. It's like every time she gets on stage, her front pose looks different and it's never quite right. Hand is way too far in, covering up the belly button. I just want her to stand up. Just stand up and just relax the upper body. She tends to stand up and then flare the lat out too much. You know, a really easy, simple fix here is fix the feet, fix the shoes, stand up tall. I mean, easy, really easy fix. So she's got to get the right advice about these poses. I don't know who she's doing her posing with, if she's doing it by herself or what, but man, it's killing her. It's absolutely killing her. And same thing when we go to the back pose. Back pose is off too. Every time her back pose is a little bit different. She's so close. Her legs are way too wide here. Way too wide, you guys. This is Bikini circa 2016. I mean, way too wide. Okay. I don't know if she's doing this to try to diminish her glutes and legs a little bit. I don't know. I don't even know how you get into this pose without falling over. God, it's the posing. Her physique is just like, her physique would show so much better if she could get this posing. I don't understand why she can't get the posing. I mean, she needs to get with somebody that's going to show her how to do this, because she should have won a show by now. I mean, I just don't know. I don't know what else to say, because her poses are they're just so all over the place, and they're not consistent. Every show's a little bit different. Every show's something different. So she's trying things. People are giving her advice. People are giving her critiques, but she's just not taking the right advice. I don't know. She should have won a show by now. And Lacey. So Lacey did win this show. So let's take a look at Lacey. Chinese. There you go. I mean, she just, I don't know if Wu is working with somebody, or if she's just doing it herself or what, but she needs to get somebody that's going to show her how to pose right and fix the shoes. I mean, it's just simple things. Yeah. Posing is losing it for her, bottom line. So let's take a look at Lacey here. She did win. Now, this is a great pose. She looks like she's just standing there, right? She's well balanced from top to bottom. Some of the critiques I've given of her in the past is she looked a little bit thin. I don't think she looks thin at all here. I think she looks very well balanced, full, tight, round, in all the right places. And again, this looks effortless. It doesn't look like she's trying too hard. It doesn't look like she's trying to overcompensate for problems with her physique. She's just showing her physique. That's what you want to do in order to win a show. Just show off your physique that you have built. Real easy. Real easy, right? I mean, easier said than done, right? I'm guilty of it too. I'm guilty of overposing. I did that my last show. I overposed. But, when you've been on stage 4 or 5 times, you should have fixed this by now. And I'm still talking about Wu at this point. Okay, so here's Lacey's back pose. So again, she's just standing there. Now, where I think she can improve is she can still use some upper and mid glute here. But conditioning is right on. Those hamstrings are not super diced in. She's standing up nice and tall. We see that tiny waistline. We see the width in the shoulders. We see the delts outside. Her hair's not covering it. Her feet are right underneath her shoulders. They're not too wide. Boom. Done. Easy, right? I mean, to me, this was a very clear and obvious win at this show. just was. You know, what I would say going forward is she just probably needs to put on some more glutes going into Olympia, some more of that inner pop to get more projection out this way. And then she'd be good to go, because I think her shoulders are good. I think from the front, her legs are good. I think she just needs a little bit more glutes in order to be able to hang with the top competitors. She's got a great shape. And again, she's just showing it, just naturally showing it. Go figure. Just naturally showing it. Okay, so with that is going to be our 2 shows we're going to wrap up today, because the other show that we had was, where was it? I can't remember where it was. We don't have, it was Brazil, but we don't have pictures from it. So, so we're going to move on, and we're going to preview this weekend's shows. So the first one, I'm just going to pull up the actual list for this one. We're not going to pull up competitors for this one. Shoot, I just closed it off. I just exited out. Damn it. There we go. Okay, I got it. Took me a second. Sorry, guys. Here we go. So the Prague Pro. This show is always a huge show every year. So I'm not going to actually go through all of these names, because it is a European show, and we've got 2 more shows to talk about tonight from the U.S. here too. But you know, you can see clearly we've got Valeria is back on stage. We have Irina. We've talked about her before. She's back on stage. I talked about Nora last week. She didn't do anything at Romania. I think she was like 7th or something like that. So we did talk about her, but she was not top 5. We got Inez back. We got Anna back. We got Katerina back. Who else? Who am I missing? Right, I'm not recognizing. Is there names on here that I'm not recognizing? A lot of these girls have been in the top, you know, since the Olympia, the last few shows, you know. This is a big show. Everybody's going to be watching it because Chris Bumstead's doing the Open. So, where's the Open men? There we go. This is why everybody's going to be watching this show right here, because Chris Bumstead is going into the Open. So this will be one that's on everybody's list this weekend, just for that factor right there. They're going to sell a lot of live streams just because of that. So congratulations to the promoters. You got the biggest star in bodybuilding doing your show. That's freaking phenomenal. So this will be a good show to see all the coverage from. They're gonna definitely do it up for that for sure. So yeah, let's pay attention to that. But like I said, it's most of the same people that we've been talking about the last few shows from Europe. Let's take a look. Oh, where's the one that I wanted to look at next? We're going to take a look at Sun Rayz next. We got 3 US shows to go through. There's a lot. Okay. So we got the Hawaii Pro next. Whoops. Sorry. So Hawaii is up next. So we got a list of familiar names here. Yeah, the pros worked hard. I'm sure they worked hard to get Chris there. I'm sure they did. So we got a lot of the same people that we've been talking about. So we do have Wu Bai coming back. We just talked about her. We have Jess Feeney. So I wanted to talk about her because she is qualified for the Olympia by winning this Italy Pro right here. But you see, she came over to the U.S. and she did not do great here at the Iron Games. I think she was 6th or 7th, something like that. She was out of the top 5. She was still up there. I'm not saying she did horrible, but I just wanted to show you guys her frame real quick, because it's kind of hard to see it sometimes in the European shows and like how they actually do their coverage. So I just wanted you to see her frame real quick. So you can see here, she's pretty blocky. You know, she doesn't have the best look in the world. She's been too hard with her conditioning. It looks like she softened up here. But that's making her waistline look thicker because she's softened up. She's also hanging off the edges of her shoes. Guys, this is so bad. Make sure your toes don't hang off the edge of your shoes like that. Please, please. She did fix her suit, so I'm happy about that. I hated her suit. You guys know, if you've watched these at all, I hated her suit. So I'm glad that she fixed her suit and did something different. But in general, she just doesn't have the most aesthetic physique. And it does look like she's trying to follow critiques and things like that because she did soften up. But I don't think that did her any favors as far as showing her shape off. So, she just looks she looks flat. I mean, she looks real flat because it looks like she's trying not to come in too hard, and in the process, she's flattened out, right? So that's the hard thing. When you've already got that muscle density built up and you've already got the conditioning there, trying to pull it back down is really, really hard to do. It's really hard to do. So, but she's on the list for this coming weekend, so we'll see how that goes for her. Brittany's back up again, so we just talked about Brittany. This was Nadee's back up again, so she hasn't been on since Daytona, so she's coming into this as well. And we've got Eureka. Eureka just did Iron Games. She was seventh in Iron Games. So we talked about her last week as well. So this was her first show of the year. The Hawaiian show last year, she took third. So I'm sure she's wanting to come back and try to bump that placing up a little bit. So let's take a look at this one. And we got Zoe. So Zoe's been consistently in the top 5. This one was from Georgia, which I think was like one of her lower placings of the year. Yeah, it was. But, she's still want to be paying attention to. She's been creeping up. Is there anybody that I missed here? I kept saying that just a suit, and she got a new one. I think she comes into condition. But again, this show she came in less condition, but she was flat. So it's really hard. Like if she was to fully pop out, she would have been too hard. So it's like, okay, which one do you do? You know what I mean? So if I had to guess here, I think it's going to come down to our typical top 5 girls. We're gonna get Woo. We're gonna get Brittany. We're gonna get Nadee. We're gonna get probably Eureka and Zoe up in that top 6 is what I'm guessing. But we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. So that's Hawaii. I did this show last year. Y'all know how much I did not like that show last year. It did not go well at all. Hated everything about it. Okay, next. Oops. We are going to do Atlantic Coast. So Atlantic Coast is a very big show, but not a lot of names. So I was looking through this, and there's not anybody that's like a huge, like, this person's going to win this, other than we've got Romina. So Romina's up, and we've got Angelica. So I'm really curious to see how this plays out, because Romina's last look on stage was not good, right? So well, I mean, I hope you enjoy it, Zoe, but I'm going to be honest, I did not like that show. It was one of my least favorite shows I've done. I'm just going to be real. I've done 2 Hawaii shows. I've done the Tim Gardner one, and I've done the Sun Rayz one. And the Tim Gardner one, I had a lot of fun. Sun Rayz, not so much. But it may be different this year. I'm gonna hold out hope for you that you'll have a good time. I was not good for me. I did not enjoy it. I take that back. I always have fun regardless. But it was not one of my favorites. Cassandra de la Rosa. Well, she's from Mexico. So has she won anything? Okay, so she's had a few top placings. Okay. It's been a while since she's been on stage. Okay, so she's one to be looking for, but I wouldn't consider to be putting her into like the top here. I would say probably Angelica has the hand up here. I mean, Angelica just did place top 10 at the Olympia, so there's that. But Romina tends to be very, very good. But again, Romina's last showing was not good at all. So I don't know. We'll see. So if I was a betting person, I would say Angelica will win this, but I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out. I mean, it's really kind of wide open, to be honest. So it's really pretty wide open. A lot of these women are doing masters. They have masters up to over 60. So a lot of these women are doing masters as well. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I don't know. If I had to guess, like I said, I would guess it's going to be Angelica's show. That's what I would guess. And then we are going to do Ben Weider, because that's the one I will be at. Okay, so this one is special for me specifically because I have clients in it. This is where it's very hit or miss. Yeah. Agreed. So I would say people to be watching, first of all, Lana. So clearly Lana's one to be paying attention to at this particular show. This is where she won her pro card 3 years ago. I would say she's probably your front runner going into this because she's been to the Olympia. Now, she still has never won a show. She went to the Olympia on points. So if she's going to win any show, I would guess this would be the one to do it. So I would say she's the one that to be watching going into this show. We also have Shanika. I put Shanika up here. She's one of my girls I've been working with ever since she was in the NPC, her second show ever. So I just wanted to give her a quick shout out too. Jennifer. So Jennifer, as you all know, is one of my clients. She was on here earlier. She may be asleep by now. If she's not asleep, she's in bed. I know that. She's looking phenomenal. She's done very well, the season and just in general. So I honestly have her up towards the top here. I'm definitely biased. You guys know that. I always say it when I'm biased, but I am crossing my fingers for Jennifer here. That's my girl. And I think she has a really good shot at this show. Just being real, she's looking really phenomenal going into this week. So I can't wait to see what happens this weekend with her. And then we have Amelia. So this was from last year. She took 5th in this show last year. So I did pull her up for this preview too, because she was 5th place last year. Jennifer took 6th place in this show last year. This was 5th place. Okay. So I do think she has an opportunity to be in that top 5 again. And then we have Brittany. So Brittany did win this show last year. And Brittany did do the Olympia this past year. She actually reached out to me and asked me what feedback I had for her. She looked flat at the Olympia. She mentioned she was just dropping weight constantly, that she went to Vegas and couldn't keep weight on her. She just overall needs size. Front, back, glutes, all of that. But she said she was very flat going into the Olympia. I thought she was flat going into the Olympia. She said that she was just dropping weight as she got to Vegas. So we'll see if a few weeks off has refreshed her or not. But I would say she's the defending champion. So I would say she's probably the person to beat right now. She's the defending champion at this particular show. Now, I also wanted to shout out fitness because I have 2 girls doing fitness. So I have Andrea doing fitness, who she did place 3rd in this show a couple years ago. She's been to the Olympia. She's just missed her Olympia qualification this year like 3 times. She was 2nd place 3 times. So I do think she has a very good chance to win this show this weekend in fitness. And then also little Miss Tatiana. So Tatiana won the overall at Universe. Again, one of my posing and suit clients. So Universe was her 2nd show ever. Her first show she ever did was the Ben Weider last year. So she's done 2 shows her entire life. This is her pro debut coming out. So I just wanted to give her a big shout out. She has amazing stage presence and amazing routines. So if you guys get a chance to watch the fitness girls, that's actually where Andrea thrives too, is in her fitness routines too. They both have really phenomenal routines. So I hope you guys will get a chance to watch those. So I'm excited to see both of them up on there. They are so fitness is first. So prejudging starts at 8 a.m. and it starts with fitness. So I will be smack dab in the front of that room as quickly as I possibly can. I have a bunch of clients that are in the NPC portion of it that are competing as well. So I will be up before the ass crack of dawn, getting girls ready to go. I'll be up at 3 a.m. doing hair and makeup, all that stuff. So be fun times. So what do you guys think? Do you think Lana has this, or do you think that Brittany has this, or do you think that Jennifer has this? What do you think? Who's your front runner? Should have left that up. Who's your front runner for this show? Oh I got something just flew in my ear. I think I just had a bug fly in my ear. Sorry. I'm sitting here and I just felt something fly in my ear. Oof, goodness gracious. What do you guys think? Who's gonna take home the win here? Do you think this is finally Lana's opportunity to win a show? Do you think? So, like I said, I will be at this show. The women are on Friday also. I think it's Lana's show to lose. I agree. I would definitely preface it that way. Absolutely. That's the way I would say it. It's Lana's show to lose. I agree. Yeah, I think that you're right on the top three with Lana, Brittany, and Jennifer. I do. And Jennifer with the T-Rex arms, right? But yeah, I'm curious to see how this particular show goes, because typically the head judge at this show is Becky Clausen. She's not this year though. Tyler's head judging it. So as you guys know, they're putting out a big initiative to push, natural shows and stuff like that now in the NPC. Going into 2025, they're going to have more pro qualifiers, more Olympic qualifiers that are natural and everything like that. And, this is my unbiased opinion. I actually think that Jennifer has a more in line with the pro standards kind of physique. I just do. So Lana's gorgeous. Lana has amazing stage presence. Lana has really good balance from top to bottom. But when we're talking about like conditioning and things like that, I believe that Jennifer's conditioning and muscularity is more in line with our current pros today. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. A lot of it's going to be a matter of how they show up that morning, right? A lot of it's going to be a matter of how they show up that morning. A great example is last year, Jennifer ended up in 6th. And one of the reasons why I wasn't at the show last year, I was competing in Hawaii last year. One of the reasons why is she wore granny panties to bed. And so she had tan marks on her butt. And she tried to fix it, and her butt looked muddy. Her conditioning wasn't great that particular show either, but little things that you can't control, like having mud butt, is something that will absolutely affect how your actual placing lays out as well. So I'm going to be there this time. We're going to make sure she does not have mud butt, and we're going to make sure her conditioning is on point for the show. Her conditioning is on point for the show. Bottom line, her conditioning is on point for this show. So yeah, we're gonna make sure all those variables are taken care of this year. So I have a really good feeling for her. I do, and we'll see how it plays out. It's just gonna be a matter, of how they show up that day. So regardless, it's gonna be a fun show. It's always a fun show. This is kind of like the end of the year show for us here in Northern Virginia. So I really like ending the show on this, or ending the year on this note. It tends to be a very good show. So I'm excited about it. Like I said, the women are on stage on Friday for this particular show. The Atlantic, that was something that was mentioned too. Like you saw, like Shanika actually is doing this show, and then she's going to the Atlantic Coast show right after to go do that show. She did that last year too. That's something that some people have done in the past. You go back to back with that Friday, Saturday show kind of thing. So she is doing that. So yeah, I'm excited. Regardless of how it plays out, I'm excited. It's going to be a fun show. It's right in my backyard, literally down the street. So I do still stay at the host hotel and everything for this particular show because it's always big and I have a lot of clients. But yeah, it's gonna be fun times. So with that, you guys, I wanted to get on tonight because it's gonna be a very busy week. Like I said, the girls are on stage on Friday, so I actually have to go to the hotel on Thursday this week. So I wanted to get this done. We will have a Behind the Bikini on Thursday as well. I did upload a Coffee to Cigars yesterday with Jennifer. So if you didn't get a chance to watch that, the first half of that is us testing Thanksgiving blend coffee. And then the second half of that is us answering fitness questions. So check that out. I did timestamp everything. So if there's certain things that you want to watch and certain things you don't, you can go click, go to the timestamps. But get on there, ask questions. That particular playlist is focused more on like everyday life kind of fitness stuff, nutrition stuff, all of that kind of stuff. So go ahead and check that out too. I think it's kind of fun. And with that, you guys, I hope you all have a great night. I got to go eat again and I got to go get some more steps in, prep life over here. And have a great night, you guys. We'll see you back here next time. It would be awesome. Put it out into the universe. Put it out into the universe. We're saying it now, right?